Hey yo, what's going on? It's Adrian. Today we are going over the projected 53-man roster, the way too early projected 53-man roster for the New York Football Giants. It is May 19th. They haven't even started training camp or anything. They haven't put pads on the new guys, so this is extremely early, but I thought it'd be fun to go over what I think could be the 53 guys they run out on week one of the 2024 NFL season. So let's get right into it with the quarterbacks. Um, Daniel Jones, of course, is going to be the starter. Drew Lock is the backup. And then Tommy DeVito and Nathan Rourke. Between the two, you could see one of them possibly make it. It's definitely going to be a battle in the preseason. It'll be fun to watch. I do like Nathan Rourke. I think he's pretty skilled. He looked pretty good with the Jaguars in the preseason, like every year that he's been out there. But yeah, Tommy DeVito, I mean, he knows the offense already, and he's kind of like a fan favorite. So I assume DeVito would get the third spot if they do keep a third quarterback. They definitely could, especially if they like Tommy DeVito, because he could get snatched up if they waive him. But I do have them cutting both and just keeping two quarterbacks on the roster. Um, Hopefully, DeVito could be on practice squad. If not, I think Rourke could be or somebody else. But that's what I got for quarterback. I will say, notably, right now there are 91 players technically on the roster. They're only allowed to have 90, but the draft picks Theo Johnson and Tyler Nubin are unsigned at the moment, so technically there's 89 contractually on the roster. So when those two do get signed, they are going to have to cut one player at some point somewhere on the roster. So somebody that is in this video will not be there come training camp when the rookies are all signed. Anyway, moving to running back. I got Devin Singletary, of course, starting, and then Eric Gray and Tyrone Tracy, I think, are pretty much locks as the young guys there. And then I have Dante Miller making it, the young speedster. I really like Dante Miller. He's very fast. He could be a practice squad guy, but I like him enough that I have him making the team. Now, I have him cutting Gary Brightwell and Jashawn Corbin. Corbin's been our practice squad guy for a couple years now, and Brightwell was a draft pick. He just hasn't proven much when he gets on the actual field. He is a good special teams guy, so I guess he could make the team in that sense. I wouldn't be surprised if he made it over like Dante Miller as the fourth guy, but I have him cutting him for now. Something to note here: if the unproven guys in Eric Gray and Tyrone Tracy, if neither of them like really take hold of the backup role behind Singletary in camp, the Matt Breida is still available, or they could go a different route and sign somebody after the cut downs at running back for the backup spot. But I think Tracy or Gray will take it. I do believe one of them will show enough to take that spot. And I think we'll see both of them too. Moving on to wide receiver, this is a difficult spot. There's so many cuts here. Now let's go over the obvious guys. Malik Neighbors, Darius Slayton, Jalen Hyatt, and Wandale Robinson will be on the team unless Slayton gets traded, but I don't think that's going to happen. So that's four spots there, and then the other spots are up for grabs. I think Isaiah McKenzie and Gunnar Oslowski are going to be battling for the main return slash slot receiver role. And Isaiah McKenzie is simply a better slot receiver at least he's shown that he is in the past. Plus he knows the coaching staff. He knows Dayball. So I have McKenzie making it over Oslowski. And then this is probably going to surprise some people, but I have Miles Boykin making the team. He's a big special teams guy, and I have them cutting Isaiah Hodgins. Now, of course, Isaiah Hodgins is probably more than likely at the moment going to make it over Miles Boykin, but I do think that they were ready to move on from him if another team signed him this offseason. So I wouldn't be too shocked if someone makes the team over him, and someone like Miles Boykin could do that. Now, Miles Boykin hasn't done much on the field in the past few years. He started out like 5 years ago, he was solid, but it's been a while since he's done much. So Hodgins could definitely beat him, but I just think Boykin has a lot more special teams than Hodgins. I don't think Hodgins brings much to the table on special teams, so I have Boykin making it over him. Another guy to watch here, Bryce Ford Wheaton. He was looking pretty good on special teams. He's another big target too. he could make it over Boykin or Hodgins. I would like him to. I like Bryce Ford Wheaton, but he's coming off injury and he hasn't proven anything, so he's basically a rookie. So I don't know if he's going to have what it takes. I do want him to take that sixth wide receiver role, though, and I hope that he does. Allen Robinson, I doubt he makes it, and then the rest of the guys there maybe could vie for practice squad role. So that's the 6 I have for wide receiver. At tight end, this is another one that's a little interesting. Um, Darren Waller, I think, is a goner. Obviously, he's very talented, so he could, if he doesn't retire, he could, of course, make the team as the starter and possibly be really good for us. But I just think at this point, since it's literally almost into like when they start OTAs and Darren Waller hasn't made up his mind yet, I think at this point they're just gonna say, you know what, we're gonna, even if he does decide to come back from possible retirement talks, we're just gonna cut him. If he gets cut post June, they're gonna save like $11 million. So I think they're gonna cut him. I think Darren Waller played his last snap with the Giants, if not in the league in general. So I have Daniel Bellinger as the starter. I love Daniel Bellinger. I can't wait to see him as the starter. Theo Johnson, of course, is a lock. He's pretty much replacing Darren Waller, and I think he should get a good amount of snaps. And then I only have a third tight end making it. Jack Stoll and Chris Manhertz are kind of like very similar players. Good blockers, not that great actually catching and running with the ball, but they can do it if you need them to. So I have Stoll making over Manhertz. You can flip flop them if you want, or both of them might make it if they keep 4. And then I do have Lawrence Cager also getting cut. He's fun, but with Theo Johnson on the team, what's really the point of Cager? Theo Johnson's a better version of Lawrence Cager, in my opinion. He can block, and Cager can't. So, yeah, I have Cager getting cut. Maybe he makes the practice squad. At the inside O line, this is another one where I have quite a surprise here. I have I have John Michael Schmitz, of course, then John Runyon at left guard. We signed him for that. I have Illuminor kicking in to take the right guard spot. He could stay out at tackle. Um, if that does happen, then I guess I would change some things here. But what I have is Illuminor at right guard for now. And then backups, it really just depends on what happens here. I have Aaron Stinney getting cut, as you can see here. Aaron Stinney was brought in. A lot of people think he could be the starting right guard. I just don't really see it personally. He hasn't been very impressive as a starter. So I think there's going to be a definite battle at right guard here between Stinney. Schlotman can play guard too. People are talking about him as the backup center, but he can play guard as well, and he's getting paid more than Aaron Stinney, just so you all know. And then Josh Ezeudu and Marcus McKethan. McKethan wasn't very good, but Ezeudu and McKethan, I mean, they've both started a little bit, and if they improve, I think either of them could take at least the backup guard role here. So that's basically what I have happening. I think Schlotman and Ezeudu are going to look better than Aaron Stinney in camp, and Stinney doesn't have much money attached to him. They can just cut him. So I think Stinney is going to be a surprise cut at this point in time in training camp, or he could be at least. And then Schlotman could be like the main inside backup, or Ezeudu if he wins it. And then I don't think they're going to just give up on McKethan this early, unless Stinney is that much better than McKethan out of the gate. And then I have Jake Kubas getting cut too. He could be a practice squad guy. Jalen Mayfield also. I mean, he was once viewed as a possible starter in the league, so maybe they can get something out of him. Who knows? That's what I have for the inside. And then at tackle, of course, Andrew Thomas on the left side. I have Evan Neal hopefully locking down the right tackle position. I mean, if he doesn't, of course, Illuminor will be starting at right tackle, and then they have to think a little bit more about the inside spot. But I have Evan Neal taking it for now. Hopefully he works out. And then Matt Nelson, I have making the team as the swing tackle. That might not happen. You could have Evan Neal win the swing tackle spot. They could have Illuminor stick as the swing tackle instead of starting at guard. But I like Matt Nelson, and I think he's a solid swing tackle, so why not keep him in that role? And then Marcellus Johnson, he can make the practice squad. I like Yadni Kajust, but I just don't know if he can make the team over Matt Nelson. Another practice squad guy there, maybe. Yeah, that's what I have at tackle. Another thing to note for tackle, Tyree Phillips. He was their swing tackle last year. He is injured at the moment, which is why he's not on the team. I think when he comes back from injury, if that's during training camp or if that's like week 2, week 3, I could see the Giants signing Tyree Phillips to be the swing tackle if Matt Nelson doesn't look up to par, or Evan Neal possibly in that role. So that's something to note there. Moving on to the defense, D line. I think it's pretty cut and dry here. Jordan Phillips and Dexter Lawrence. Well, Dexter Lawrence is the starter, and then Jordan Phillips and Nacho, Raheem Nunez Roches, are going to battle for that other spot. Jordan Riley has a lot of potential, so they're going to keep those 4 guys there. And then DJ Davidson, I assume, is going to make the team. I suppose you can say he's on the bubble with a couple other guys, but I like DJ Davidson. I think the coaching staff does too, so I think he makes the team. Ryder Anderson probably going to be on the practice squad. And then Casey Rogers and Elijah Chapman could battle for a practice squad spot as well. Timmy Horn too. Who knows? He has some experience, but yeah, I have those guys all getting cut. Moving on to the edge. Edge looks like pretty solid if you ask me. We got Brian Burns and Tibbs as the starters. Aziz coming off the bench is going to be fantastic. I love that for him, and let's hope he doesn't get injured. After him, it's a bit of a question mark. Uh, they could only go with 4 guys. I have them going with 5. They traded for Boogie, I believe, last year. They might have grabbed him off waivers. I can't remember, but either way, they I think they like him. I think he's good against the run more so than rushing the quarterback. So I think he adds a level or a layer that some of the other guys don't have quite as much. So I think he will make the team. And then Benton Whitley they brought in late last year, and he was kind of showing up a little bit towards the end of the year. So I think they like him enough to possibly have him make the team as a 5th edge as well. I have him making it over Tamon Fox, who I do like. He's shown some edge skills. Uh, and then Ovi, of course, as well. We'll see. He's an undrafted guy. He could push for a spot. None of those guys are guaranteed between Boogie, Benton, Whitley, Tamon Fox, and Ovi. None of those guys are guaranteed a spot. So that's definitely going to be a battle to make the team there. And the guys that get cut, honestly, could all make the practice squad. Who knows? If none of those 4 step up, though, this could be another spot to look at for the waiver wire once those cuts start happening. I could see them adding a fourth guy that's not on the roster right now here. So that'll be edge will be fun in the preseason and training camp. I'm pretty excited to watch what happens there. Moving on to linebacker. Bobby Okereke and Micah McFadden are the starters. It'll be interesting to see them in the new defensive scheme. After them, Darius Muasau is a lock, and then Isaiah Simmons is pretty much a lock if you look at his contract. He's got a lot of guaranteed money. So those 4 I would say are locks to make it. Muasau hopefully wins the backup linebacker role because I'm not sure who will if not him. Isaiah Simmons is kind of like he's not really a starting linebacker guy. He's kind of a put him in when you want him to get to the quarterback or make some crazy plays. Not really a starting linebacker type guy. So after those 4, I have Matthew Adams making it, of course, and Carter Coughlin making it, both as special teams aces. They might not both make the roster. They might just roll with 5 guys. In that case, I think Matthew Adams probably has the case over Carter Coughlin. Even though Carter Coughlin has been around for a while, Matthew Adams is just like kind of a stud on special teams. Carter Coughlin is really good as well, so you could see both of them or just one of them make it. Who knows? And then I have Beavers and Deontay Johnson getting cut. Johnson probably on the practice squad. Beavers, I just don't think they like him, to be honest. We'll see. Maybe he'll look different in the new scheme, look better, but I don't know. He just looks too slow, I think, for the NFL in general. So I have them getting cut. Again, linebacker is another spot. If Muasau doesn't win the backup role there, as the linebacker. I mean, maybe Beavers or Johnson will have a shot too, but if no one can win that role, I could see them signing somebody here as well to be the backup linebacker. Moving on to corner, this is another spot where I have a surprise. Now, Tay Banks, of course, is there. You got Drew Phillips at nickel, and they're moving Flott to the other side to win, hopefully, the other outside corner role. So those 3 are locks, I would say. Trey Hawkins, I would say, is also a lock. He's got a lot of work to do, but he could be a starter one day. Nick McLeod, I really like, and I think they really like, so I think he's going to make it as well. That's 5 right there. And then the sixth spot that I have making it is the backup nickel role. That's going to be a battle. You would think it's a battle between Darnay Holmes and David Long Jr. Darnay's been around for a while. He knows nickel, and David Long is a nickel corner. So that's a good battle. But I still think you can't just give up on Aaron Robinson. Granted, Robinson could literally be cut within the next week of me making this and not even go to training camp. But I like Aaron Robinson. He's a very skilled player. He was once talked about as a starting outsider or starting nickel corner for us. He's just been injured for like 2 years straight. Pretty much since he got drafted, he's been injured, unfortunately. So, yeah, those injuries could have sapped his ability, or they could just not trust him to even make the team. So, he might not make the team. But I think he is better when he is healthy. I think he could be better than Darnay Holmes or David Long, or, I mean, honestly, maybe even Drew Phillips um, in the nickel role. So, I have him making the team as of right now. Will he even make it back from injury and play another down in the NFL? That is the question there. If he's cut next week, yeah, I'll put Darnay Holmes in as the backup nickel spot. David Long Jr., though, another guy, don't forget about him. He could win the backup nickel role. He's a good player. And then Alex Johnson, they gave him a bit of money to come to them in as an undrafted free agent. So he's another guy to kind of watch out for. I think he's probably going to be like a practice squad guy though. Then Oliver and Hayes, yeah, I got him. Moving to safety, Jason Pinnock and Tyler Nubin are locks. They should be the starters. Pinnock's definitely going to be a starter. Nubin, I assume, will win the other starting safety role. And then Dane Belton, I think they still like, so I assume he's going to make it. And then, honestly, all five could make it. Jalen Mills and Javarius Owens. They like Owens. I like Owens, so it's a tough cut for me to cut Owens. He would make the practice squad for sure. Um, Honestly, I think they'll probably want to try to keep all five if they can. Jalen Mills, I have making the team. He can also play corner, and he's been around for a while. He'd be the vet of the room, so I think it is important to have a vet. But they also cut their vet last year, so I don't think it would be too surprising if Jalen Mills doesn't make the team here at safety. Also, he could be the starter if he looks better than Nubin out there. So there's a lot of places Mills could go here, but I have him making the team for now. And then the last three guys to make it are, of course, the special teams guys. Graham Gano at kicker, Jamie Gillen at punter, and of course, Casey Kreider, our long-term long snapper. If Jude McAtney makes it as the kicker over Graham Gano, I will literally eat my socks because that is insane. I have Graham Gano, of course, making it. And that rounds out my 53-man roster. Let me know what you guys think. If you think I'm crazy for having somebody like Aaron Robinson make the team, or cutting Aaron Stinney or something else like that. Let me know what you think. But yeah, until next time, peace.